Hey, what's up guys? TCG Reload here, and today we're coming at you with a deck profile for the Chain Burn deck. So this deck does not play a lot of monsters, but we're going to start off with 3 Lava Golem. You gotta have it, it's a staple for any burn deck. We have 3 Lore of the Heavenly Prison. This goes really good with this deck because you're going to want to make sure your back row is protected, all those traps and stuff you're going to have set, as well as being able to search a trap out of your deck to hopefully do some more damage. We have 2 Mahama the Fairy Dragon, so when your opponent attacks, you're going to special this and then hit him with the same damage. And then 1 Marshmallow just to get that 1000 burn damage and kind of stall the game out because it can't be scored by battle. And 1 Ghost Mourner. I used to play Ghost Mourner at 3, but I noticed I didn't really get a lot of damage in with it. It was more useful to put in extra traps and stuff. Just seemed more helpful that way. That's it for the monsters. Alright, starting with some of the traps here. We have 3 Magic Cylinder. Gotta play Magic Cylinder in a burn deck. Some people might not play this at 3. I really like it at 3. Next up we got 3 Ceasefire. A really old card and a really strong card. It's going to do 500 damage for every effect monster on the field, so that's going to just deal in a ton of damage, especially against combo decks like Snake Eyes where they're just building a really big board. Next we have Just Desserts, playing that at 3 as well. It's kind of like Ceasefire but not quite as strong. It's going to do 500 damage for every monster your opponent controls, so not on the field, but this one doesn't discriminate between effect monsters and normal monsters. Alright, we have 2 Bad Luck Blast. This is kind of an interesting card because it's a lot like Ring of Destruction, where you're able to target a monster and then you take damage and then your opponent takes damage. Not quite as strong because it's only equal to half of its attack, but if your opponent destroys this, you can inflict 1000 damage. So a lot of the times what's going to happen is your opponent activates Harpy's Feather Duster, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 you can activate Bad Luck Blast to target a monster, do some damage, and then as it resolves, Harpy's Feather Duster destroys that, then you get an extra 1000 damage in. Next up is 3 Secret Blast, kind of similar, but what this does is it inflicts 300 damage for every card your opponent controls, and then if it's sent to the graveyard, once again inflicts 1000 damage to your opponent. So kind of the same thing, if they Harpy's Feather Duster, you chain this, and then you still get some damage in. And then Secret Barrel, kind of similar once again. This one is going to do 200 damage for every card your opponent controls and in their hand. This one usually doesn't do quite as much damage. Alright, we got 3 Ring of Destruction, another staple card for burn decks. This card could also be played at 2, like the Bad Luck Blast, just because it is a once per turn. But this card is a lot stronger, and when you use this card, you're usually hitting for a lot of damage. Sometimes you'll summon Lava Golem to your opponent's field, let it hit for 1000 during their standby, and then use Ring of Destruction to hit for another 3000, and that's half their life points right there. Next up, 3 Gravedigger's Trap Hole. This card could maybe be run at 1 or 2. You're not really getting hand trapped a lot when playing this deck because you're mostly just like setting a bunch of traps face down. But if your opponent's activating stuff in the graveyard, then you're going to be able to hit them for 2000 damage, which is quite a bit. 2 Trap Trick. This just lets you search whatever you might be needing to kind of finish off the game. And 1 Boo Boo Game. It's kind of a tech card. Not everyone plays this. I've considered cutting it, but when it goes off, it's just a lot of fun. What it can do is it can block an attack, and then its secondary effect is that if it gets destroyed by your opponent, then you get to take 2 traps from your graveyard, set them to your field, and you can activate them this turn, which can almost every time win a game, but it's not that often that your opponent destroys this. So it's kind of a gamble. That's it for the traps. Next we have only 3 spell cards. We have Chain Strike. This is a card where you activate as high of a chain link as you can, and then you get more damage in. It's set to 1. If that card was at 3, I would definitely play 3 of it, because it's really strong, but we'll take the 1. Pot of Extrav, Pot of Desires. Your extra deck basically doesn't matter, so you're cool with banishing or getting rid of whatever you need from there. And then Pot of Desires, just kind of going to thin your deck a little bit, which is fine, but it's going to get you those extra 2 that you can set and hopefully go for a game against your opponent. That's it for the main deck. Let's take a look at the extra deck. Most of the cards in the extra deck don't matter. This is just literally random cards I put in it. that have no meaning. It's just if you use, you know, your pot of extravagance, then it's just going to banish stuff and you don't care. There is some of the extra deck that counts though. We are playing 3 mismatched rarity Gustav Max. You can actually summon this by using 2 Lord of the Heavenly Prison. I've never done it, but you can do it if you'd like to. Juggernaut Leave, 2 of those. Once again, mismatched rarity. And then one of the number 81 Super Dora. I'm actually not even very familiar with this card. Like I said, I've never summoned any of these, so. Last couple monsters, 2 Garura and 1 Entis. This is just for if your opponent happens to be playing Dogmatica and you have to send stuff to grave, you're going to get at least a little bit of a benefit from that. And that is it for the burn deck, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe. We'll see you next time.